Hello and welcome to another episode of Reach the Masses, a show about two friends talking about the pop culture that they love. I'm Travis.
And I'm Heather.
In today's episode, we are going to talk about summer movies, blockbuster movies. We are in the middle of July, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to just kind of reminisce about some of our favorite movies, some of our movies that we didn't like, some that we felt really hyped about, and then some that were just disappointing. So,
who's going to start? Who's going to go?
Who's going to go? I guess we could start with...
I mean, I'm sure we have some that are very, very similar, but...
I'm sure. Looking back through some of the... I sent you a website that had several different movies for each year. I mean, talking about blockbusters, the first official blockbuster that came out was Jaws.
Yes, yes.
And, I mean, to this day, you can normally find someone doing the Jaws theme at an ocean or a pool.
And there are even young people who know the Jaws theme. Whenever they don't know anything else,
they know the Jaws theme.
They know the Jaws theme.
And then there's been so many different blockbusters. Things, and these aren't saying that, so don't go after us if we don't mention your all-time favorite blockbuster. These are personal for us.
Yeah, this is our thing, not really commercial.
Right. It's not
stuff.
like this is the best movie based on all the movies known to man. This is our favorite
money
movie.
wise or whatever. This is just kind of movies that came out, what do we say, from May to August?
Yeah, I think that's the summer months. I think they keep trying to expand the summer season. But basically, Memorial Day to when does they close the pools now?
I don't know.
It's in September.
They keep pushing it back, global warming and all, so.
Climate change.
Yeah.
It's climate change.
Climate change, not
You
global
don't say-
warming.
You say global warming and it gets cold, they say
Where's your global warming now?
so they stand
Climate
outside,
change.
They stand out with an aerosol can.
Yeah. Hashtag ding dong, you're dead.
Ding dong, you're dead. But yeah, so I mean, yes, there have been summer blockbusters. Jaws is always something that you think about. Star Wars was a major blockbuster. Almost all the Star Wars, except for the last ones, didn't fall into the category. The last two Star Wars movies we've had didn't fall in the summer months. The first two that never did.
Oh, yeah?
The Force Awakens and Rogue One both premiered in December.
So they're like our Christmas time blockbusters.
The next Star Wars movie, Episode 8, The Last Jedi, will be in December as well, but I think the 9th episode will be back in the May slot, because they usually were in May.
So will it be May, followed immediately, or the immediate May after December, or
I think The Last Jedi,
will it be like
the last,
next year?
The Last Jedi comes out...
The next year.
The Last Jedi comes out December of this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So that's 2017. I think episode 9 will come out in
2019.
2019,
Okay.
because in 2018 will be the Han Solo movie.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of doing a main story and then a spin-off story in the alternating years.
Okay.
So you always get Star Wars every year. And
So you get the present time and then like a flashback to,
or a flash forward or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, but they have been doing the ones in between have been flashbacks.
Flashbacks,
Because
yeah.
Rogue One takes place between episodes 3 and 4, and then Han Solo will be an origin story for Han, so that will be pretty much between episodes 3 and 4 again.
I guess we all know how that ends, though.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah, we've kind of seen
Or
that.
does it?
We've kind of seen that.
But yeah, so yes, we could easily mention those movies, Star Wars, most of all the Star Wars are big blockbuster hits. But we're talking about movies that meant something to us. I can just go ahead and start. Like the first movie blockbuster that really gripped me was one of the first movies I went and saw by myself, which was Independence Day in July. And I went to...
I love that movie.
To our mall, our now decaying mall, and went and saw it.
Oh, have you not been lately? Because it's sprucing up.
Oh, really?
New walls, new all kinds of stuff.
But that was the first movie that I saw by myself that really wowed me.
Yeah. Well, and that was a big one for computer animation for our generation as well.
Yeah, it came out July 3rd.
That wasn't a cartoon.
July 3rd, 1996.
Yeah.
So 13, going to go see a movie because I think it was PG-13, so I was like, haha, I could go to this movie and pay for the ticket by myself.
I don't remember the first movie I went and seen, like with friends, or which I don't know that I've ever been to the movies alone because I'm awkward and weird and can't do things like that. But so I don't know what that would have been. Maybe. No, it wouldn't have been that movie. What movie was it? There was a huge group of us that went to a theater that whole shopping center's not even there anymore, and we all went. And I can't even remember what the movie was, which is how I think it was Big Daddy. It's Adam Sandler's Big Daddy.
Okay.
And a huge group of us from school went.
Was I with you?
I don't know. Maybe that's another one of those memories where we have.
I don't know.
But
to tell you the truth, one of my favorite things of all time was going to movies by myself and just finding a nice seat, finding a time where there weren't that many people, and just enjoying the big screen by myself and just being absorbed. Because usually when you go with people, they're whispering.
Yeah, and there's comments.
And there's comments, and then like, what's going on? And I don't know.
You know what's going on? Shut up. That's what's going on.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Don't ask me. Yeah, don't ask me if we're watching something. Don't ask me what's happening.
Especially if it's the first time we're both watching it.
Yes.
Like if you go to the bathroom.
What is up with that?
I can understand if you go to the bathroom and come back, say, "Did I miss anything?" And he's like, "No, nothing really that bad." That's fine. Yeah. But not like you just turn around and say, "Who's that?"
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's
exactly.
That always annoyed me because I think that's probably why I started going just by myself because. I think everyone in our group, or they weren't even watching the movie. Like they were just talking. I'm like, why? Like,
why did we pay money for this?
Why? Let's watch the movie.
Yeah.
We'll talk after.
My grandmother always took me to movies when I was younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can only remember going and seeing one movie with my parents, and that was, what was it? It was that movie that had like Demi Moore, Rosie O'Donnell, Christina Ricci, and it was like them as adults when they were thinking back to when they were kids, like now or later or now or something. It was a really good movie.
Now or later, the candy?
No, not the candy. I'm going to end up having to look this up. But that's the first movie I went to see with my parents.
You said it had Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. Christina Ricci, Demi Moore, what's Tom Hanks's wife's name? Now
Mrs. Hanks.
Mrs. Hanks. No, it's Rita something. Now and Then. 1995. Now and Then. When did it? What month did it come out? Because it was a great movie. I loved that movie. I don't know what month it came. October, so it wasn't considered one of the summer blockbusters. Gosh, it was so good. But yeah, with my parents, talking about going to movies when you were kids.
I remember going to the drive-in.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Seeing Howard the Duck. Of all movies.
The Mummy was the first movie I seen at the drive-in.
Oh, the Brendan Fraser?
Yes, the good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he like yells at everything. Yeah. He yells at the mummy, he yells at the sand, he yells at himself. I don't know.
He screams at things.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Like, historically speaking, it's horrible. But movie-wise, it's fantastic.
So, I know you took some notes.
I did.
So, Independence Day was probably one of the first ones that really blew me away. Mainly because it was like I was kind of doing my own independence by doing my first movie by myself. And then seeing that kind of movie and just seeing those effects, like you said, the White House blowing up and all these... historical landmarks blowing up. It was just like, for a 13-year-old boy, that was just like, oh,
and
So that was one that really captured my imagination. And
now, my cousin and I, we went and seen The Lion King when I was what was that, 1994?
Yeah.
And I remember us coming in that same mall you're talking about and walking around and singing
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. Like, that captured
Yeah.
everybody's minds.
I remember going as a kid with my mom to that same theater, The Land Before Time.
Yeah, that's so sad. We can't talk about that movie.
Can't talk about it. No. But the thing is that, just the marketing for it, because on the way out, we went through JCPenney's because we parked at where JCPenney's was,
right.
and they had like the dolls for it. So after you watch, you're like, I gotta have it. So we bought.
Right. Do you remember the hand puppets they had?
From McDonald's.
Was it McDonald's?
Yeah, or like Pizza Hut or something.
Maybe it was Pizza Hut.
It may have been Pizza Hut. Yeah, because we had Ducky and Spike, and
yeah,
we had to get them all. It was before Pokemon. We had to catch them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. But what's the movie?
Okay. Let's see. One that I hated. If we're gonna go back that far, 1995's Batman Forever.
That you hated. Okay.
Yeah.
So
any Batman movie I'm down for, but that movie. The only good thing about it, aside from like the majority of the cast, 'cause I mean, like Tommy Lee Jones was in that movie, Nicole Kidman, Jim Carrey, yeah, was that we got to see Robin on screen, because other than like Adam West's Batman, you don't really get to see Robin.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, other than the comics and stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, on screen.
On screen, yeah.
And I hate that, because I'm not a big cartoon person. Mm-hmm. I wish I were, because there's a lot of fun stuff that happens in them.
Oh, I could recommend some stuff for you.
Yeah.
That would blow your mind.
But just seeing Robin
on the screen,
that in that 3D kind of world, rather than just on paper, was just amazing for me. And not that I'm a big Chris O'Donnell fan. I mean, I love him. He's a great actor. Mm-hmm. But just that character for me.
So was this one that you were, because
it's a boo. It's a thumbs down.
I got two categories for the.
Okay.
So was it one that you just didn't like, or was this one that you were really hyped about and then it disappointed?
Yes.
The second one?
Yes. It was just so
hyped
hokey.
Up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which I'm not a Val Kilmer fan.
So after seeing that one, that prepared you to not be hyped up for Batman and Robin with George Clooney and
right. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck, but I'm gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah. Some of these are just bad.
It had Alicia Silverstone in it. That one did.
Yes. That's the difference, is that, yes, we know some of these movies are disappointing, but some of them going in, you know that they're bad.
Yeah.
And you don't have that much anticipation or hype for it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about two categories where you go in thinking it's going to be a great movie, and it disappointed so hard.
Right.
And then the other one is just movies that you just didn't care for. Usually most of the Fast and Furious movies would be a blah.
Yeah, see, I've never watched, and I don't plan to watch.
My
children love them.
I haven't watched since, I think I've seen.
And my mother.
I think they're on the 8th one. I think they just did the 8th one. They came out with the 8th one, Fast 8. Yeah, that sounds right. And I've seen the 6th one. I haven't seen the 7th one, and I have no desire to watch 7 or 8.
Well, I'm not a car person. Like I drive one, and that's about it. I mean,
no.
I don't. The story doesn't interest me.
And then we can also do the vice versa of movies that you didn't have much hope for, and then they came in and blew you away. One of those would be, let me see when it was released to see if it falls into that. Nope, it was a December movie. Never mind. But the Mission Impossible, the last two Mission Impossible movies.
See, I haven't watched those.
Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
Ghost Protocol, more than anything, you need to watch yet. The fourth one.
Was it actually good?
It's so good. The action's really good. It's funny. It's
like in every movie Tom Cruise is in,
he's running.
Well, no, that's the 10th Doctor. What I'm thinking is he becomes more and more immortal. Like, is this like Scientology's way of slowly creeping in, and like he's like gonna unveil that he actually is like an immortal?
Yeah, because he doesn't look like he's aging.
Well, that, and he just, I mean, like, the dude doesn't die in any movie he's in.
He's doing all of his own stunts.
I mean, he kind of died as Lestat back in, his interview with the Vampire Days.
You never watched Edge of Tomorrow?
No.
You need to see that.
I don't. What is that one?
It's they called it Edge of Tomorrow, but I think the working title is Live, Die, Repeat. It's basically
Wait, is that the one where he's like in
Day.
his mind or whatever?
No.
He's not in his mind.
No,
Okay.
it's an alien attack,
Oh, okay.
and he's he gets thrown into this battlefield. But what happens is that every time he dies, the day resets.
Yeah.
So he starts, so it's kind of
I
like
remember the
so it's
trailer
kind of
for
like
that.
a video game where like he dies and he restarts the level, and then as he goes on and on, like at first he can't even they got mech suits.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't even know how to operate it. And then after so long, he's like jumping over and doing flips and doing all this
Right.
stuff. It's really good. I would recommend it.
Does he die at the end?
He doesn't, but he dies a lot
See,
throughout. He dies.
He doesn't die.
But he dies a lot throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, but he doesn't stay that way.
Well, there's a lot of you could do that for a lot of action stars where they don't die.
Yeah, that's true. And I get in my mind though, he's not an action star. Like in my mind, he's the guy from Cocktail.
Well, see, yeah, but he's went totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that it's just hard for me to. I can't reconcile the multiple Tom Cruises that are floating around Hollywood.
Infinity of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity Crisis of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
Just
let me.
can't-
So that one was your hype that
just failed.
failed. Okay, so my hype that failed was X-Men 3, X-Men United, because the first X-Men was okay. It was establishing the world. X2 was so good. It, as far as comic book movies, you have to think about at that time there weren't that many.
No.
And it did so good, and it set up so much for like the next movie with Phoenix and all that character development.
That was so blunted to me.
And see,
though.
one of the biggest things that I hated about, I was okay with it for the first two movies, but I thought, okay, the Phoenix, we're going to get a lot from Cyclops.
Yeah.
The actor playing Cyclops, James
Masters.
Masters. Yeah. I thought we were going to get a lot from him. However, he was under contract for Superman Returns. So that's why he's not in the movie except for the first
Marsden
for the first 10 or 15 minutes. Now, he's an actor that dies in almost everything he does.
I know. There's a commercial
Yeah.
with him dying repeatedly.
Well, that character when he dies and he's like, can I not? That's from Westworld.
Okay.
From the TV show Westworld, where he dies all the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And Sean Bean, character, always dies.
Yeah.
In Bond movie and Game of Thrones. And like he's been in everything and he dies. Let me see. But that one just disappointed me so much because it just, I don't know what happened, the story, everything. It went flat.
Yeah.
And it stayed there. And then they tried to bring in, when they brought in Juggernaut, and then they brought in that catchphrase that came on for like a minute, I'm the Juggernaut bitch.
Yeah.
Like that was a meme for a while. And they made him say that. And it was just like, oh,
yeah,
that was so bad. Why?
And I love the actor that played the Juggernaut.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is a fantastic actor. And anything he's in, I will watch it just to watch him.
Now, I would say Edge of Tomorrow was one that I didn't have high hopes for, and it really impressed me because it came out in June 6th of 2014.
Okay.
And then some of the movies that just blew me away that met the hype. The first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Blew me away. I thought they got that character so right that first time. I like
With the subsequent films.
Well, see, a lot of people that I heard and read about, they love Spider-Man 2. I like Spider-Man 2. There's some things about the character I just don't like what they did with him.
Yeah.
I didn't like.
Well, see, and the thing about it is, I'm also not coming at most of the comic book movies from a comic book reading standpoint. So for me, it's not about how close the stories match. I like it when they do, because I think that is a magical thing to be able to create something on screen that has been in this 2D world. But so it's more about the movies for me if I'm coming at it with like comic book movies.
I do not take it from the stance of they've adopted the story. It needs to be exactly like the story.
Right.
I already long time ago reconciled that with my brain that comic book movies are not going to be like the comics, and that's fine. But I want them to be the characters that they are in the comics, or get it close to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Spider-Man's greatest appeal to me was he got these powers and he messed up.
Yeah.
And because of that mess up, someone he loved died, and then that was just drilled into his head. With great power comes great responsibility, and the first Spider-Man did that so well. And at the very end, he gets his happy moment.
Yeah.
Like, at the very end, MJ, the love of his life that he said he loved, which that's not in the comics. I mean, he does end up with MJ, but his first girlfriend was Gwen Stacy in the comics.
Right.
And so in the first movie, they made it like MJ's grew up with him and he's had a crush on her his whole life. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I was fine with that. It's not, but he gets the girl at the end, like, and he rejects her because he has to be the Spider-Man. He has to, with great power comes great responsibility, and I can't do. And that blew me away. Yeah. I was like, that's Spider-Man. He gets what he wants, and then he
has to say no.
He has to say no because he has to be Spider-Man.
But that doesn't happen in the comics, right? Because they have like a kid or something.
In the comics, they do eventually get together, but
okay.
The appeal of Spider-Man has always been, and that's the problem, is that with most comic book characters is that you can't age them. Yeah. Because the thing that appealed to everyone with Spider-Man when way back in the 60s was that he was in high school and he was trying to juggle being a high school kid and being a superhero at the same time, and there were times where he was off being Spider-Man and he didn't get to turn in his paper, or and then it worked a little bit when he was in college, and then when he was working, like he missed deadlines and stuff because he was Spider-Man. But then once he started getting like, oh look, because Spider-Man was like, you can kind of relate to juggling on, and like Spider-Man was an everyman character, but what started going downhill was like he met MJ, who was a model, and they got married, and like all these, and then eventually, but he's aged so much that they're not. That's why they created in the comics the Ultimate Universe, where it kind of rebooted Spider-Man, but they kept the normal universe where Spidey
Peter
was doing,
Parker.
Peter Parker.
But
and
I mean,
was
he a
Ultimate.
photographer? Like, was that his job as he got
older?
Yes,
he was a freelance photographer for most of it, and he would be taking pictures of himself being Spider-Man.
Right.
Like
Which was in the movies.
Yes, he would web up, a camera in a certain angle, and some of the shots didn't take depending on where the action was, but whatever shots he got, he would sell them to the Daily Bugle. That's how he would get most of his money.
I mean, it's kind of feasible that he would meet MJ, right? Being a model, since she was a model, and
was a model.
She was a model.
I think he got set up by his Aunt May.
Okay. I was going to say, well, if they met like workplace romance or whatever, but
no, I don't think that was the case. But I mean, there's so many things with Spider-Man, but the first movie for me got the essence of Spider-Man, and then the second one, there were some things I just didn't like what they were doing with the character. The main thing that made me mad with the second one, and it was just a nitpick, that he could turn off and on his powers based on his mood. That's basically, I don't know if you remember much of the second one.
I don't know.
It was Dr. Octopus, which was fine. I mean, most of the movie was great. I loved it, but I didn't like it more than the first one. But basically, he was stressed out about trying to juggle everything, so he decided to quit being Spider-Man because he kept losing his powers because he was so stressed out.
Because he was having like a psychosomatic reaction.
Right. And I didn't like that part.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, I can't do anything now.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I need my powers back, and now I can get them back. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I'd liked almost everything else about the story, and the third one is just a train wreck, and we'll never speak of it. But as far as...
Wait, is that the emo Spider-Man?
Yes. With Venom and Sandman.
The goth Spidey.
Yes, where he pops a collar and does a Saturday Night Fever strut down in New York.
Yes.
But Spider-Man was one of the first movies. Not one of the first. It was one of those movies that really, like, I went and saw it, and it just blew me away.
Right.
It wasn't one of those. Nowadays, you go to like the Wednesday opening premiere at midnight screening or whatever.
Yeah.
But I went. It was still pretty early when it was like the same weekend, and it was like one of the first showings. Like, I got up. We didn't have a theater here, so I had to drive to Tinseltown, which was 30 or 40 minutes away, just to get there in time to watch it and see it, and it blew me away, and that just meant so much as far as movies great.
Right. Yeah.
So what's a movie that you didn't like, or just that met the hype?
See, I went the total opposite direction. I'm like, yeah, there's some shitty movies that they're on my list, but then I'm like, yeah, there's this movie that I love and it came out this time. And there's this movie that I loved and it came out this time.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, going for one of the good ones, 2001, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yes.
That's the only movie I'm mentioning from 2001.
There's a lot of good movies that happened in 2001.
There were.
I'm sure.
But that movie is like, it's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's them in a van with 4 hot chicks. I mean, traveling across the country.
Kevin Smith's wife.
Yes. One of them was Elijah Dushku.
Yes. Shannon
Elizabeth. And what's her face? Allie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
But yes, that was one, and I'm still going to reserve probably a podcast to talk about Kevin Smith, since Kevin Smith was kind of the inspiration for doing this podcast. So I would like to maybe spend one podcast talking about the greatness that is Kevin Smith.
Larder. I knew it was Larder. Allie Larder. And there's an orangutan at one point. I mean, and they visit all of the characters in his movies.
Yeah, he did.
Anybody Jay and Silent Bob has met, they go back and they talk to these people, and they're all the same actors. Because, he recycles actors, which is fantastic. And he's created this entire universe of people around the same towns who look so much alike because they're played by the same actors.
Yeah, no, because he was the first one. They talk about the DC universe and the Marvel universe. He has the View Askew universe. And
yes.
he brought it all together before the Avengers and all that.
Yeah.
And it just culminated in this. And now he's making Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back 2.
So excited.
Because he owns those characters. And,
right.
Which is interesting that he owns them, so he can do whatever he wants with those 2 characters. And I think it's kind of prevalent, because I think the premise of the second one is
I don't even know.
The first Jay and Silent Bob was about them trying to stop their movie from being made,
getting their movie money.
Blunt Man and Chronic.
Yeah.
The superhero movie. Well, now I think this one is like they're doing a reboot of it, and they don't want the reboot to happen, or something to that effect.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, 2018.
I think he said in podcasts and stuff that I've heard for him that they're filming it, I think this fall, like September or October, and I think it's going to be in Pennsylvania is where they're going to be filming.
Okay.
So
it should be interesting. Of course it will be. Not should be. I'm a liar. It's going to be.
Now, there's been movies that I don't like, but I didn't go in expecting it to be good. Mm-hmm. Green Lantern, I hoped that it would be good, because Green Lantern's
that's your guy.
That's one of my favorite superheroes is Green Lantern, but that one wasn't very good. So I went in hoping, but I didn't expect it to be good.
Right.
Now, the new DCEU has been full of ones that were not good. But Batman v Superman, I would say that it falls under bad.
Yeah. The only good thing about that movie,
I think we talked about it in another podcast.
Yeah, was Wonder Woman.
And I mentioned the Batman scene where he's in the warehouse.
Yes.
That fight scene.
Yes, because that was full on real Batman.
That's the Batman we want.
Yeah.
And then Wonder Woman, yeah. And then
who does this new Wonder Woman? Just wow.
And then Batman v Superman, and then Man of Steel, I think was a letdown a little bit, because I think
most people thought that, but most people think that about any Superman movie that doesn't have Christopher Reeves in it.
Well, thinking about it, and now seeing what they could do with Wonder Woman makes Man of Steel and
look
Batman
petty.
v Superman even worse.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because that is not Superman.
I agree. I agree with you. And
Wonder Woman is the new Superman.
Yeah. Even just the way they did the colors in the Man of Steel. If they would have not toned that down and made that so dark, he's not Batman.
Yeah.
Like, his movies, he's supposed to be this lighter, brighter character. His movie should have been bright.
Yeah,
Those skies should have been sky blue.
Well, I think I had sent you that
You
YouTube
did.
link
You
where
did.
someone had color corrected the Man of Steel.
Yes.
And it's
And
so
it was
much brighter. And it was
wonderful.
Yeah.
That would have made so much difference, I think, in how that movie was perceived. Now, I'm a huge Superman fan. I have a tattoo, with the S, but anytime he's on screen, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to pay money and I'm
Thank you
going to
for
go watch it.
clarifying that it's a Superman tattoo, because I was just like a random.
Like-
I have a tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. I have the
I got a
Superman
car.
tattoo.
It goes vroom, vroom.
But like I'm gonna pay money and I'm gonna go watch Superman on screen anytime he's gonna be on screen. Even the dreaded 2006 Superman Returns. I went and watched it. I liked Brandon Routh as Superman, even though he has brown eyes. And he wore those horrible contacts, or maybe it was computer animation. I don't know.
It was a good movie. I mean, I liked it. I didn't like
The storyline it was so, the storyline, the plot was good, but it just, like, I don't know, it just
I think
took a
if
bad
You
turn.
get someone like Kevin Spacey, who's done great villain roles in The Usual Suspects,
Yes.
and Seven, and all these great villain roles, and then he pretty much goes back to some sort of real estate scheme.
Yeah,
from
he
like the
was
Christopher
Gene
Reeve era.
Hackman. Yeah, he was Gene Hackman's
Right.
Lex Luthor, and he shouldn't have been.
He
They
should
should
have
have
been.
made him his own Lex.
And I understand that it was kind of a sequel / reboot, because it was
Yeah.
supposed to take place after Superman 2.
Right.
Because I don't know if they're recognizing 3 or 4. But it's supposed to be like a genuine sequel to
Right,
the
yeah.
Superman universe, and that he left and came back. So I understand why they maybe did the Gene Hackman thing, but for him to do another real estate scheme of, because like the first one he was trying to blow up.
Well, he married that old lady and got her to
Inherited
change
money.
her will, and
And Lex Luthor is such a great villain, and you could do so much with him. Again, that goes back to some cartoons that have done so well with him, as well as even Smallville did him right for a while. I mean,
yeah, the early years of Smallville did him great. To watch him become what he became.
yeah, I could see why that one people are disappointed with that one.
Was Smallville still on in 2006?
I don't.
I think it was. I'm fairly certain that
Because
it
it
was.
came out in 2001, because it was when
So it still would have been out. but
9/11 happened. It came out that same year.
Then it still would have been on because it lasted for long past its prime. Like other CW, WB shows.
I never finished it
I didn't either.
till
just-
2011.
Yeah.
So it was on during the Superman Returns. Yeah, 2006 was Superman Returns. So yeah. Any other movies that you want to throw out there that just grabbed your attention, good, bad, or indifferent?
Bridesmaids. I was told by so many people how much I was going to love the movie Bridesmaids.
And was this a hype and didn't follow through?
Yes.
I didn't like it either.
Like, I love the cast. They have some great actors, but I think they were trying to recreate what's the other movie?
Hangover.
Yeah, they were trying to recreate The Hangover, but with ladies. I guess.
Yeah.
Is maybe what it seemed like to me.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought, well, maybe I'm just too gay to get it. I don't know, because it was like all these straight women that were being like, yeah, you're gonna love this movie, and then it was like, no.
Have you ever seen that movie Bad Moms?
Yes.
No.
Now that movie I loved.
Okay, because
That
I've not
movie.
watched it, but every one that I know at work and all these other people, they loved it.
You really, yeah. Instead of doing the podcast one day, you need to come over and we just need to watch Bad Moms because it's fantastic.
And there's a trailer. They're doing some sort of Christmas movie, Bad Moms Christmas movie.
That is fantastic. I haven't heard this news.
Yeah, there's a trailer out for it.
And you just made me a little giddy at that because that sounds great because
Yeah.
Bad Moms.
I watched the trailer for it, and it looks like they're giving up Christmas, and they're going to put up a tree because moms are always having to do stuff on Christmas. So
Yes, yes.
They're down with Christmas.
Like, it's genuinely that movie that, like, held up its middle finger to, like, all the other movies and was like, we don't care what you think about us. We're making this movie, and it's going to be funny, or you can just, go on with yourself.
Okay.
It was fantastic. Like, I'm
So
gonna have to watch it now.
So Bridesmaids was a disappointment.
Yeah, like all these people that I worked with every day, and valued their opinion, were just like, "You're gonna love this movie," and I was like, "No, didn't love it." Like, there were some funny scenes, which I mean, there's gonna be with the actors that are in that movie.
Right.
There's gonna be some funny scenes, but overall, I was just like, "No,
Right.
this didn't do it for me." But that's just me. Whatever.
Yeah, I was going to make another comment about another movie, but it left me. So,
What's something you went in to watch, or what's something small that wasn't a big blockbuster that you watched that really just blew your mind? Do you have something set aside for that?
Let me see when it was released to see if it falls in a blockbuster. If not, I can say it was. To fit the
You're not
narrative.
going to fact check, because mine was 28 Days Later, and that's
28
still in
Days
my
Later.
top 5 favorite movies. Absolutely. If you don't like that movie, then you can go on with your bad self.
A month shy. It was like at the very end of April. I was going to say Ex Machina. Have you ever seen that?
I've not. No.
It's very good.
I've not even watched the trailer for it. I keep seeing it come up on like Hulu or Netflix or Amazon or something. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch it.
It's actually really good. I mean, it's a slow burn, but it's really well acted, and it's really good. It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my answer. I mean, if we're just going to talk about movies, it's not a very like super blown up budget, and it kind of came out of nowhere and did
Right.
well.
Like 28 Days Later did. It was just kind of that movie that was released, especially here in the States, and it's just such a genuinely good movie. And it was a summer release, so it's in there.
So looking ahead, since we kind of talked about some of our favorites, we already talked about Wonder Woman. That's probably been the only movie we've seen this summer.
Yeah, I think for both of us.
And I used to be, I used to watch every movie that came out in the summertime.
Yeah.
I would just go every weekend and see it, or during the week I would get off from work and go on and watch a movie.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't happen that much because, life and kids and all that.
Right.
So Wonder Woman was great. I'm wanting to watch the new Spider-Man Homecoming that's out. There's not really that much this summer that's really... I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I know that's already out.
Yeah, that's another one I want to see.
And we had some really good movies that didn't fall in the last couple of years in the summer blockbusters that were blockbusters. I already mentioned the Star Wars movies. Those were good. Deadpool,
of course,
was such a good movie, and it came out in February, but it was so good.
Just hilarious.
And then this year, Logan.
You would think Ryan Reynolds, anything he touches now turns to gold.
Yeah. And then Logan came out this year, and it was awesome.
That's when I'm going to have to go back and watch. And I watched the first 20 minutes of it, and maybe I was tired because, it was late at night.
Right.
And it was also the black and white version, and I want to watch it in color, and I want to be able to pay real attention to it and not have any kind of distractions. So,
yeah. And of course, this year's best movie ever was Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, no. No.
No, it was horrible.
No,
it was horrible.
It wasn't.
No, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Okay, fine. It was horrible.
Okay, there we go.
I went and watched it. Took the kids.
I did too. I
Took
saw
the
it.
kids.
I saw it too. My wife was really into Beauty and the Beast. I love Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon Disney movie. We went and saw it for
More
her.
of a Cinderella person myself.
For her birthday.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. Just horrible. Horrible. And it's made it's like one of the most, it's almost globally the most.
I heard a comment that said, I heard a comment from someone I actually know. They actually said this, that the Beast was more attractive than the actor. And I was like, well, okay. I don't tend to rate actors on attractiveness. I try to rate them on depth of emotion and how good their work is. But if you want to take it there, fine. But then this person was 17, and they tend to be shallow at that age, especially.
Worldwide, Beauty and the Beast has made $1.2 billion.
Now, is that a lot?
That's a lot. $1 billion with
I
a
mean,
B.
I know,
That's
$1
a
billion
lot.
is
Yeah.
a lot. But what I'm saying, like movie comparison wise, I don't know where things
Well,
stand.
as far as
because I don't pay attention to that shit.
all-time worldwide, it's number 10.
Okay, what's number one? Like Titanic or some bullshit?
No, Titanic's not been number one for a while.
Okay.
Number one all-time worldwide is Avatar, then Titanic.
Oh, Avatar, not seen it.
Don't
Not gonna watch it.
need to.
Yeah.
Um,
What else is on that list then?
It's all been recent stuff, and that's the newest trend with movies is
Oh.
that the foreign markets have really started picking up, and these movies that we don't like or you wouldn't think would be good,
Yeah.
are being shot up, and that's why we keep getting Transformers movies, and
Oh.
we get.
I
these
wondered why
sequel-
that was still going on because I'm
well,
like,
this last one, I
come
mean,
on.
even domestically, we were giving a lot of money towards Transformers
Like,
anyway.
they're
But this
beating
last
that dead
one-
horse as much as
This
they
last
can.
one, it's not done as well domestically,
Uh-huh.
but it's doing so well in the foreign markets. They're going to keep turning these out.
Ugh.
Top 10 worldwide all time is Avatar's number 1, Titanic number 2, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Jurassic World, Marvel's The Avengers, Furious 7, Age of Ultron, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, 9 is Frozen, 10 is Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
So it's all normal, like these are all
It's
within the
mostly
last,
movies I didn't watch or didn't like.
other than Titanic, the top 10 have been within the last 10 years.
Yeah, I liked Titanic. I thought it was a good movie. I mean, maybe it was just the
Let me
whole
ask-
Kate Winslet thing and the whole Irish jig they did. I thought that was fantastic.
The Avengers. Now, did you?
I liked the Avengers.
I liked it too, but that was another big comic book wonderful
Yeah.
moment when they were fighting at the end.
Yeah.
And they were cutting back and forth, and it was Joss Whedon, and he was able to do stuff
Yeah.
before the studio came in and said you have to add all this other stuff, and that's what happened with Age of Ultron, which is terrific. But the first Avengers was a
Yeah.
really good movie.
I think they're beating a dead horse with all that shit now, but yeah, I love the Avengers. And like Captain America, that's my son's man. Like the captain is his man. He's not going to like anybody. I mean, he's going to like these other comic book guys, but the captain, that's where it's at for him.
Right.
So we're going to watch anything that has the captain in it.
So you like Civil War
Oh yeah.
and the second one, The
Any
Winter
of that.
Soldier, and all that.
Which I mean, he's still young, so I mean, he doesn't have these highbrow opinions yet,
Yes. When you're
But-
younger, everything's woo, it blows up.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
there.
But you know what? These Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies,
I
these
never
new
watched
ones,
them. Never watched them.
don't do it.
I don't want
I of course own the others on VHS and Blu-ray, and they're great.
to. The original ones, yes.
Yes, the original ones, and I still somewhere I'm fairly certain I have. Whenever they traveled in concert, I have those VHS
I think I have that
tapes
one
as
too,
well.
coming out of their sales tour. Yes,
Yes,
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. Yes.
you know. I've
I
still
would-
got that somewhere.
I would deduct points for the second one just because of Vanilla Ice, The Secret of the Ooze.
Oh come on!
So yeah, I think that's a good. We'll end with Vanilla Ice and Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Go ninja, go ninja, go! Now that's going to be in my head for the next 4 days. Thanks
Exactly.
for that.
But yeah, we can move on. So let us know in the comments, question us, email us, send us a tweet, whatever. What are some summer blockbusters that really meant something to you? Tell us something that you were so hyped to go see and it just sucked so hard.
Yeah.
Or something that you were like, oh, this is going to be bad, but then you got in and it took it to
Blew
another
your
level
mind.
and you loved it. So let us know. Send us something, comment, email. We got lots of ways for you to reach out to us. But just let us know. But we're going to wrap up this part of our podcast and move to Would You Rather. We're gonna,
Another rousing round of Would You Rather.
Oh my gosh, I was re-listening when I was editing, and oh my gosh, some of these questions was like the most random words ever. I still think that one where was it you burp and you belch and it flies, or you belch and a little baloney ghost
Bologna
with-
smelling ghost comes out of you
and stays with you for
for
a week. That was the most random.
I'm hoping the 4 cards I have right now, as much as I have shuffled, I am hoping that these 4 cards can rival that randomness.
Well, we're going through this whole game, and there's thousands of scenarios, so we've got a while. There's 4 different packs, and we've only opened the first pack, and we're not even
like a quarter of the way through the first pack.
So we shall see, but I think it's my go because I think you went first last time.
Sure.
So I will go first this time. If
All right.
not, then we'll
go with that anyway.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Fun.
Did
you just check the back of the card to make sure it was
it's
real?
The same game, yes. I was like, is this okay?
I didn't make it up and put it in there.
Well, this is the kind of clean party edition, so
right.
It's a kind of dirty, but not.
All right, I like kind of dirty.
Would you rather have a one-night stand with Barney the dinosaur or Jabba the Hutt?
Oh no!
I love you. You love. Oh, right there. You love me.
That's so wrong. Why did you just do that? I
gotta answer the question too.
I really don't know. I really need to plead the fifth on this one.
This is where it cuts to commercial and you hear the elevator music and it's like technical difficulties.
yes, that right there.
And then we come back. All right, that next round.
That's oh my.
Hey, you asked for something that would rival the Baloney Ghost,
and you delivered.
We just did. One night stand with Barney or Jabba the Hutt.
I can't take them both now.
No, okay. Just Jabba the Hutt or Barney the dinosaur.
Okay.
Which would be a better lover?
I don't have an answer to that question. But if I'm going to have to spend the night with one of them, Jabba's kind of mean.
Okay.
And not mean in a fun way.
Right.
Mean in like a scary way.
Barney will cuddle afterwards.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Barney, I guess. Yeah. At least his felt will be soft. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go with Barney.
No, keep justifying it. I love hearing. Go for it.
No, you go ahead and answer. Well, who do you choose, Barney or Jabba?
Barney.
Okay, and why?
Because he loves me, and I love him.
And you're a happy family.
Yeah. Why are you trying to tear our family apart?
Oh my.
All right, your go.
I'm all sweaty now. Whew, okay, let's see. Okay. Would you rather weigh 400 pounds and be happily married, or be in fantastic shape and have nothing but terrible relationships? That's fairly easy. For me, anyway.
I feel like I'm close to the first one anyway, so...
Well, that's horrible to say about yourself.
Yes.
No self-deprecating humor.
I gotta start losing weight. But, be 400 pounds but happily married, or be really ripped and have bad
terrible relationships.
I would go with the happily married because...
Absolutely.
Because if you say terrible marriage, not even marriage, terrible relationships...
That means you're just...
miserable.
Yeah.
So, I would do the happily married.
I'm going to go with you on this one.
Okay.
That was fairly simple.
Okay.
All
right.
That wasn't as fun as yours.
Whew, okay, let's see what we've got. All right. Apparently, I've got the good pile.
You've got the good ones, I guess.
All right. So, would you rather change your political party and everything you stand for?
Okay.
Or have political pundits review and debate your life every night on the evening news? Every night.
Every night.
So like Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, whichever one they want to do, will get on there and talk about your views, and they would debate on your life and your choices on the evening news.
Well, my favorite pundit is a guy called the Rude Pundit. So if he can be included in that, then I'm going to go with that one.
Have political pundits.
Yeah, he's a political pundit.
I'm
going to go with that one. Yeah. Because I don't want to change my views. I don't.
And everything you stand for.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we won't go into
I worked long and hard to get where I am, and I don't want to do that.
We won't go into what your political party is and what my political party is. But I'm with that one, too. I would rather have them debate it. I mean, they're pretty much debating it every day anyway.
Right? Yeah.
So might as well.
Like I do that in my head every night. So what would be the difference of someone being on the telly and doing it?
But it'd be your
Nothing.
life, so they would be taking your life as an example.
That's what I'm saying.
But still,
I do that with my life every night.
so all right.
Review all my mistakes.
That one wasn't that bad.
Okay. Would you rather have people hear every sound you make after you close the bathroom door, or smell every odor?
Here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go with that one as well.
Because that's happened. And if you have thin walls, you hear someone go into the bathroom, you can't get mad at them for hearing something because you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But if I had to smell everything that happened in the bathroom, I don't want
people to smell what comes out of my body.
Exactly.
They can hear all the noise. Okay, wait, before we do that,
okay,
I'm going to go with, on the bottom part of the card, it has a
fill in the blank. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you these fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Just because
you have to, basically it asks a question, but there's something. It's kind of like a Mad Libs.
Yeah, you fill in the noun.
Okay.
Okay. So. Would you rather have silly string spray from your fingertips every 5 minutes, or jet clouds of, and it says something smelly. So like the Eastman smell.
Okay.
Blow from a blowhole in your head. It doesn't say how often it does. It just said jet clouds of something smelly. So the Eastman from a blowhole on your head.
But the silly string
is every 5 minutes. So you could like Spider-Man somebody. But it'd be every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I couldn't get any work done.
Yeah.
So I guess the smelling thing, because he doesn't say how often.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to save those other ones for if we get through all of them.
Well, I just thought that was just, we were discussing Spider-Man, and it just...
it's a good tie-in.
It just related. It just related.
Yeah, but I can't control it, so every 5 minutes I could be typing something from
It'd just be like...
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like, spaghetti.
Oh, God,
which then you could eat. Like, maybe I should have said spaghetti, and then you could be like, oh, it's lunchtime.
What was the word that you put in for the first one?
Silly string.
Silly string?
Yeah.
So if you just said, like, spaghetti.
Yeah, it said spray something stringy from your fingertips every 5 minutes. So, I mean, like, we could go with, like, Spidey's webbing.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right, so my go?
Your go.
All right.
Oh,
okay.
no.
Sorry, pause for effect. Okay. Would you rather have all your thoughts projected in a hologram above your head? So everything you thought would just be like a little bubble, and it would show what you're thinking about.
I'm a bad, bad man.
Or would you rather have a second mouth on your shoulder that constantly criticizes you?
Second mouth on my shoulder.
Hey, you suck.
And be like, I'm okay with that. No projecting over my head. No.
Because it doesn't seem like you can control the projecting of the above your head, your thoughts. Because you can't stop your thoughts sometimes. And
and I would never be that strong. And whenever I initially meet somebody, I think of them automatically in a sexual situation. Like, not necessarily with me. But as soon as I meet another adult human being, I immediately imagine them in a sexual situation.
Well, now I feel uncomfortable.
We met years ago.
I know. I'm thinking back on that time, and I feel uncomfortable.
So yeah, I can't have the projection. No projecting. Nope.
Okay.
Only in the therapy way.
I would, I guess I'd do the second mouth as well.
Yeah. I mean, we do that to ourselves anyway, so.
But everyone would hear someone criticizing you, and I guess you could put on something heavy on your shoulders to muffle it, or
I'd duct tape it or get it drunk or something. Because if it's got a mouth and it can criticize, then it's got a brain somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'll just make it drink a whole bunch.
We can kill it.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Do you want me to go now?
Your go, yeah. I'll do the shoulder, second mouth on the shoulder thing.
Okay, well these are two things I don't have to pick between, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
No. You have to do the two.
No, I mean, I'll follow up in a minute.
Okay, go for it.
Would you rather feel a constant headache or feel like you constantly have to throw up?
Headache. Because I'd rarely throw up, but every time I've had to throw up, it just sucks. I can do stuff with a headache.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that I can cure the headache, but I mean, I can work around a headache more than I could feeling like I want to constantly throw up. So yours is like...
Well, I'm fairly nauseous every day, and I always I get a headache every day, so that's not really much of a choice for me. Uh-oh, there's brow furrowing.
This is the last one for me. This was just a silly one. And we started off so strong, and now it's just...
It's just all gone downhill, kind of like our lives.
All right, so Heather's just went dark. Good thing I can't...
Still joking, kids. We're really happy people.
Good thing you can't...
Just ask our pharmacist.
Can't project your thoughts in hologram form right now. All right, so would you rather have gorgeous fingernails for teeth or ivory tusk for fingers?
What the... What with the who now?
So, gorgeous fingernails
for teeth.
Or ivory tusks for fingers. So, it's not like they're just as big as, but I mean, they would look like they were ivory tusks for your fingers.
I'm going to go with the ivory tusks for fingers. Because I don't know how much chewing you can do with a fingernail, and I got to eat some steak.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've got a hangnail like opening up a soda can. I couldn't imagine you trying to chew with fingernails.
Yeah,
I would do the ivory tusk for fingers because it's solid, and I mean, it's just ivory tusk for fingers.
I mean, I'm assuming that blood and nerve endings don't flow through there, so you could kind of shape them into whatever you needed to shape them into. Quit making lewd gestures with your hands, sir.
I'm just trying to pop my wrist here. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I'm assuming you could just shape them however you needed to shape them.
Yeah, and they're strong, sturdy. Yeah. Okay.
Strong and sturdy.
Strong and sturdy.
All right, my last one.
All right.
Oh, this is fun.
Okay.
This one's a fun one. Would you rather hunt Hannibal Lecter with Scooby-Doo in the gang or hunt him with Inspector Gadget?
Scooby-Doo in the gang.
Yes.
It goes back to the Kevin Smith.
Yes, it does. It goes all the way back to Kevin Smith with some doobie snacks. Because that scene in that movie is too perfect.
Although I don't know how I would handle walking in on Hannibal Lecter with Shaggy's brain open and cooking it for him.
Well, strictly speaking, Brain and Shaggy don't fall into the same sentence very often.
Right.
And I think if he would go after anybody, it would probably be Freddy.
I don't know.
I mean, that ascot would probably do it for Hannibal.
I don't know. He has an obsession for Clarice, so he may... Daphne. Well, not maybe Daphne.
It'd be Thelma because of her brain.
Yeah.
But Hannibal, he likes the fellas too. So
Okie dokie.
So I think he may go after that ascot that Freddy's wearing.
Pun intended.
Ha ha.
We'll leave it on ascot. That'll wrap up 4 rounds of Would You Rather.
Oh, come on. You're not... No, you have to reference Lewis Black because we're talking about ascots. You don't remember. From his White Album.
Okay. Go for it.
Guy's named Todd wearing ascots and a dickie. No?
It's not coming to my brain. Sorry.
All right. Fine then. We're going to YouTube.
We'll YouTube it after this episode's done. But, again, like we said before, let us know what you think about this round of Would You Rather. Would you rather have had Inspector Gadget go after Hannibal Lecter, or would you have done?
I might pay good money to watch that movie.
Or would you prefer? Do you agree that maybe Barney was the right choice, or would you?
Would you think Jabba the Hutt's the better lover?
What would you think? Let us know. You can reach us you can tweet us at Reach the Mass. We've got an email account at reachthemass@gmail.com.
Yes.
We've got YouTube. We've got Tumblr. Lots of ways for you to reach out to us.
Just search Reach the Masses.
We're on
podcast.
archive.org if you want to go download one of our episodes, and also on iTunes if you have an Apple product. Just reach out. Let us know you liked it or not. Give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. If we get enough responses, we might do just an episode of just questions and answers. So just give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Anything else?
Nothing I can
Did
think
I miss
of.
anything?
I think you covered all the bases.
YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter,
Archive,
iTunes.
iTunes.
Yeah. iTunes, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's everything.
Okay, well, that'll wrap it up this week. Until next time, I'm Travis.
And I'm Heather.